Howdy folks, Kathy Williams-DeVries here, bringing you a tutorial video on increasing your endurance both with the breath and the embouchure, and they're both pretty closely linked, and exercises that help one aspect also help the other. Now, this is when you're getting up in the grades and you've been playing for a few years, you start to realise that the phrasing of the music takes precedence over your need to breathe, and therefore you need to work out where the phrases end so you can take a breath, or where there's a break in the phrase and you can take a breath, but you certainly don't want to be breathing sort of before cadences, or in the middle of a interesting idea, and you certainly don't want to take a breath so that you get out of rhythm. So you need to you need to work out where you're going to breathe, and you also need to increase the amount of time and the amount of breath that you can use before you need to take another one. Now, I've mentioned in previous videos about doing long tones, and long tones along with various legato exercises that I practice help both the breathing and the embouchure. I find if I don't play for a week or so that I have to relearn how to use these muscles in order to get a good sound, and also you don't want any wavering around the mouth, and I'll show you what I mean. Because ideally when you play a long note you want a steady tone. So let me take an open G. I still had a little bit in reserve when I stopped, but you can see that on the main part the sound is very much the same. What you don't want is, and what you hear from younger students, because the embouchure isn't set. So if you haven't played for a while, or you're looking to build up your endurance, what I would suggest is that you get yourself a stopwatch. I personally use stopwatches to see how much I'm practicing, so I click it on when I start practicing, and if I go up and get a drink or something I click it off and then I come back. And that's how you know that you've done a full half hour's worth of practice, rather than probably 22 minutes of practice and 8 minutes checking your email and going for a drink and playing with the cat. So what I would do, I'd start on the open G again. Aim for 15 seconds at first. I mean, you may find that 20's fine. It's completely up to you. So what you do is you'll click it on. Whoops, I'll start playing. And also note that we're not breathing from up here. This is very shallow. We're breathing from down here in the bottom of the lungs, because the lungs go way down to here. That's where they go down to that's the rib cage. And it's probably best if you're standing up, but thing is, when you play in band and in orchestra, you're sitting down, so you may as well get used to taking big breaths and sitting correctly, sitting down. So, because when do you stand up, for a solo recital or something? I personally prefer to sit down when I play. I've got a bit of a dodgy back, so it's easier for me to sit down. And I don't think there's any real again to be practicing standing up until maybe just before the recital, just to get used to the weight of the clarinet, because the weight of the clarinet when I practice sitting down, even though I'm wearing the sling, is taken to my thighs. So let's see how long I can hold this G. So almost 30 seconds. That's not too bad. I'm pretty happy with that. But you don't just want to use the open G. That's a good place to start. I would also do C. But my point is, and then you know, maybe the G and the C and maybe a low E. It's completely up to you how many long tones you decide to do. But, and I remember actually going to a master class decades ago now from a New Zealand clarinetist, and he said that you should always practice, you should take a sort of, let most of the air out of your lungs, and then with that last gasp of air try to get as good a sound as you can, so that when you're faced with a really long solo in orchestra, maybe like Pines of Rome, you can still get a good sound with the very end of the breath. So you know, if you really start shaking and you can still get a good sound, that's really good. But what I suggest to build up your endurance is maybe to, you know, take, you know, maybe do 15 seconds per long note. Now, I also have exercises I do to help the legato, but also you don't get quite so bored than just holding a long note. And to get you used to moving your fingers while you are playing a long tone will also help in something like Pines of Rome. So I have a couple of different exercises. There's the Abato exercise, which I use a lot, and there are videos I've put out there about the Abato exercise. But in terms of increasing your endurance and getting a nice sound, it's good to do stuff on the throat tones, because until you get a Bakum barrel and you utilise covered fingerings, then the throat tones are going to probably be the weakest notes of your instrument. So I have an exercise. I start on an open G and I go up the chromatic all the while returning to the G. So you can hold it for a couple of beats. Basically what I want you to do is play this until you run out of breath, and then gradually over the weeks or days or weeks, however much you want to practice this, see if you can fit more notes in before you need to take a breath. So now for your open G, I like to put these two fingers down. It just makes it a little stronger. Flattens it a little if you've got a sharp G. But this is what I'm talking about. And take a nice big breath. And I can get up to a D. Let me see how long that is in seconds. So that took me almost to 30 seconds, which I was when I was doing just the long tone. And gradually you go up the scale. So what you're aiming for is to pretend you are still playing that long tone, but your fingers are moving. So you've always got this cushion of air. I was describing it to a student. It's like a bagpipe. Your lungs are like the bag of a bagpipe. A bagpipe is played on that cushion of air in that bag, and your lungs are kind of the same thing. That's the way I like to think of it. You've got this cushion of air, and your fingers just happen to move. So that finds of Rome, and this is played on the B flat. Apologies. So that wasn't exactly as smooth as I would like it. Okay, let me just get out my book of orchestral excerpts, especially ones I'm working on with a student of mine. Now, in grade 6, Trinity College, you can do your scales or you can do orchestral excerpts. Personally, I'm making my students learn both. I'm just seeing if there is Pines of Rome here. There's lots of Beethoven and stuff. I can see the Hebrides. Sibelius. A little bit of Daphnis. And Chloe. Bartok's fun. Oh yeah, the Young Person's Guide to the Orchestra, Appalachian Spring. No, we don't have Pines of Rome. That's alright, I've got it anyway. But let's take this Hebrides overture. Now, ideally, you don't want to breathe until the 4th bar, and then I wouldn't breathe again until the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9th bar, and then the 11th, and then carry through. So you take a big breath, and you notice I took it straight from the tummy. Notice that I didn't breathe there. I didn't need to. I kind of think it's part of the phrase. I don't find it too hard to do that. Now there's some spaces where you really want some good legato, and that would be between the B and the D. So between the B and the D. And then between the D and the B. But this is just an example of where you need the longer phrases. So, and I'll just sum up. The best way to increase your endurance, both with the breath and the embouchure, because they're both tied fairly closely together. If your embouchure starts, sort of breaking up on you, then it doesn't matter how much air you have, you're going to sound, you're not going to sound nice. You're not going to have a beautiful sound. So, get the stopwatch out. And maybe for the first week, 15 to 20 seconds. Also practice taking, almost letting all the air out and seeing how nice of a sound you can get just on the dregs of the air. Do the legato exercise and see if you can gradually increase the number of notes you can play before you need to breathe. And the vibrato exercise is good as well. You can start just with 2 octaves. And getting the legato really smooth. That wasn't really smooth, that wasn't a good example. And all this can help you when you do come to stuff like the Hebrides Overture by Mendelssohn. And also Symphonie Fantastique, Brahms, Symphony No. 4, the Symphony No. 3. There's not really long phrases. And also Beethoven 7. Phrases that you can test yourself, but I do recommend long tones, the legato exercises, the vibrato exercises. Get your orchestral excerpts, Pines of Rome, Mendelssohn Hebrides Overture, various Beethoven and Brahms. So they're my suggestions. If you have further questions or you think you can add something to the discussion, please don't hesitate to contact me, kathywilliams76@icloud.com. Leave a message on the website, leave a message in the guest book, comment in the comments below, send me a message on Facebook or YouTube, whatever. But thanks for listening. Bye for now.